Simcha, celebration of life.
Hi, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I am your host, Eitan Berger. World-acclaimed Israeli artist Yoram Raanan recently held an exhibition of his work at the Hechal Shlomo Jewish Heritage Center in Jerusalem. His colorful paintings depict the vibrancy of Jewish culture and history, often in abstract form. Using a fusion of techniques, styles, mediums, and book covers, he has created layers of images that the viewer may translate into a plethora of ideas and stories.
My first thought of the exhibition was when I saw the space, which is the main foyer here. It's so large and imposing, and the ceilings are so high. So I thought that if I put out very large paintings to sort of unify the space together, that I would feel comfortable showing here. So I took my largest, most powerful paintings. There's 8 walls, and I put them in a way where they all speak to each other. And I think it came off successfully. They all seem to hold their own ground and also help each other, show each other off to their best advantage. In this room is a group of collages. In other words, they're pasted book covers. I painted on book covers that were then pasted on top of paintings. So they have a few different levels to them.
Jews have always had a connection to their holy books, and perhaps it's one of the main secrets of our survival over the centuries. And books have always had beautiful covers with, embossings and engravements, and they were hand-painted. And then even when, the printing presses came out with manufactured book covers, they were still beautiful. So we do have a tradition of the covers of our books, which are like gateways to the wisdom that is hidden within, as being something beautiful and special with engraving and embossings. And I think that what Yoram has done by using, the embossing and the engraving and the words and the letters of taking our ancient symbol and giving it a whole new contemporary look is very innovative. And you'll notice that some of these are painted on Talmud Bavli book covers. And Talmud Bavli goes back, actually, to the beginning after the temple was destroyed. It was really the beginning of our history of written books. And here he's taken this ancient symbol and given it a whole new contemporary look to it.
Originally, I started painting on book covers about 20 years ago when I self-published a book. I was in the bindery, and there was a pile of old book covers that were large book covers, and I thought I could use the back of them as supports for painting, like painting on the board. But when I got them in the studio, I started just to mix some paint on the front cover, and all of a sudden they came alive. The letters of the book and the gold embossing and the patterns there, I found very exciting, the play between this sort of staid book cover and this new fresh paint on there, and the contradiction of the modern and the old, the formal and the informal.
For me, Jewish art is an inspiration. I love Jewish art, and through Jewish art, I feel my connection to Hashem deepens, and I can see the world in a different dimension. So the first time I saw Yoram Raanan's work was actually in a Jewish meditation class in a beautiful place called the Shalev Center in Jerusalem. And a very big painting, very similar to this one behind me, was shown there. And as I was hearing this wonderful lecture about Jewish meditation and the deep meanings of it, and I was looking at this painting, I was so drawn in. I felt a journey in time and space. And I was taken to these spiritual, heavenly quarters. And I just felt so inspired. And I said, I have to find who this artist is. What I love especially about his work is that his work is talking at the same time in the contemporary international art language and in the Jewish art language. And the combination of these two is so amazing and powerful.
I feel that I'm sort of tapping into a collective consciousness, a national superconscious, that I feel that I'm not quite channeling, but getting in touch with and trying to reveal and expose.
The subjects of Raanan's works are taken from Jewish tradition. He uses the books of the Torah as a guide of how to live life and not just as history books. His paintings create a bridge between the past and the future, the individual and the community, and between the physical and the spiritual.
Books have always been gateways to wisdom and to understanding, and this is called Heaven's Gateway. And just as in the past, our holy books have been openings and gateways to wisdom, they continue to be for us today. So I think it, has a message for us here now today also.
This original was the front cover, book cover, and I painted on that. And I have a collection of paintings that I'm not always finished, then put aside. And I had another book cover that I painted on, and for some reason I decided to paste this original one onto the second book cover, and it floats in front of it. So it has an extra sense of depth. You have the original painting, this painting behind it, and it's hovering in front, so it's different dimensions. And then I did another painting, the background painting on canvas, which is, was an abstract painting that actually wasn't, in my opinion, very successful in and of itself. And one day I just laid this collage on top of that, and I saw how there was an echo of the gateway in the first one with the painting in the background. So we have these process of going through a gate into hopefully a higher consciousness, higher realization. I think it also has a bit of a sort of a heavenly feel to it, very spiritual windows and gateways and archways, and that seems to be what's going on for me in it, at least.
What I love about Yoram Raanan's work is that he does action painting. That's actually the art that I love most. That the artist actually lets the work happen. He lets the process happen. He pours the color onto the canvas, and he moves with his arms and with the paintbrushes all around. He picks up the canvases and he just lets the color play on the canvas itself. And after that, he does a long process of contemplation. He looks at the work that he just produced, and then he tries to listen to the work itself to see what it has to say to him, to his deep subconsciousness. And what is amazing for me in Yoram's works is that he connects, I think, not only to his individual subconsciousness, but to the actual global Jewish subconsciousness with these amazing topics that actually live in our sphere of mind of all of us, somewhere there in the background, and he brings it to life. One of the women that visited here in the opening of the exhibition, she said it is unbelievable that one artist, that one man created so much spiritual energy.
Well, we have a shared history. We have a shared destiny. We have a shared lifestyle. So we connect in that way. Our mitzvot, we share our, every week in the, Beit Knesset, we read the Parsha Shavua. So we're constantly in touch with our peoplehood and our, what our role is in the world. Well, there's the artistic, appreciative, sensual side to it, but there's also the intellectual and the spiritual side as well. So I hope to activate that in the viewer, pretty much. Well, what I like about this one actually is that the way the paint was put on, the embossing of the actual painting gives it a lot of depth, gives a lot of feeling of form and solidity. So it has like the walls of Bavel, so it's of Babylon, and then has the writing in it. It has the sort of, it looks like almost like a Sefer Torah here, at the top of the walls, and there's a very strong heaviness to this very earthy quality of the walls, and then again it's like floating in space. So I like the contradiction. I like the juxtaposition. I like the two-sided nature, and I think life is that way for the human being. The human being is a very earthy, grounded, physical being, and then we have this spiritual side to us that is not, there's nothing you can really touch. It's something that we soar in our thoughts and our feelings and in our souls. So I think that's something that's resonating in people when they see the paintings. when I'm painting, I don't have these ideas in mind, that these come out through the process of the painting itself. I didn't have a Sefer Torah in mind. I didn't have walls in mind. It just comes through from, I guess, a very deep spiritual source. And you mentioned humility before, and I think that's the key to the ability to be able to convey these images, is that because I'm able to like negate myself, my ego, and just allow my creative energy to receive, then these things can flow through me without my imposing my own will. I can just sort of guide it along and allow it to manifest itself in the paint and the surface of painting.
Sadly, we've come to the end of this week's episode of Simcha. As always, it's been a pleasure having you join us. If you'd like to catch up on any of the previous week's episodes, please log on to our website www.spiritsister.co.za to find them. From myself, Eitan Berger, and all of us here at Simcha, have a great week and goodbye.